Did you know that after losing your spouse after age 70, one wrong financial move could wipe out everything you've built together over decades? The decisions you make in the weeks and months following this devastating loss could determine whether you live your remaining years in security or constant financial worry. What's even more alarming is that the most damaging mistakes happen when you're least equipped to make clear decisions, during the fog of grief. I want to tell you about Eleanor, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Ohio who lost her husband of 47 years to a sudden heart attack. For nearly 5 decades, David had handled most of their finances. When he passed, Eleanor was not only emotionally devastated, but completely overwhelmed by financial responsibilities she'd never had to manage before. Just 6 weeks after the funeral, still deep in grief, she made a decision that would cost her nearly $200,000 and her sense of security. A financial advisor who had seen her husband's obituary contacted her with what seemed like a compassionate offer to help. Feeling vulnerable and confused, she transferred a significant portion of their retirement savings into what turned out to be a high-commission, illiquid investment that she couldn't access when she needed it most. By the time she realized her mistake, it was too late to reverse the damage. Eleanor's story isn't unique. Too many seniors find themselves making critical financial errors during one of life's most vulnerable moments, but you don't have to be one of them. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 most devastating financial mistakes widows and widowers over 70 make, and exactly how to protect yourself from each one. Let's get started with the first critical mistake you must avoid. Mistake 1. Making major financial decisions too quickly. Did you know that making financial decisions while grieving literally impairs your brain's ability to think clearly? It's not just an emotional problem, it's a biological one. When you're grieving, your brain chemistry actually changes, making it nearly impossible to make sound financial judgments, even if you've been financially savvy your entire life. Financial experts who specialize in widow and widower finances warn that decisions made in the first year after losing a spouse have the highest likelihood of being regretted. The American Association of Retired Persons reports that 70% of widows and widowers admit to making at least one significant financial mistake during the first year of bereavement, mistakes that many are still paying for years later. Take Harold, a 75-year-old retired accountant from Minnesota. When his wife of 52 years passed away, their family home of 3 decades suddenly felt too empty, too full of memories. Just 2 months after the funeral, still deep in grief, Harold sold their home at $45,000 below market value simply to escape the emotional pain. He moved into a small apartment, only to realize weeks later that he'd made a hasty decision that not only cost him financially, but emotionally as well. The home had equity he could have leveraged later for potential long-term care needs, and the quick sale triggered capital gains taxes he hadn't anticipated. "If I could go back, I would have waited at least a year," Harold told me. "I wasn't thinking clearly. No one warned me that grief would cloud my financial judgment so severely. Here's what you need to do instead. Implement what financial advisors call the 1-year rule. Unless absolutely necessary, avoid making any major financial decisions for at least 12 months after losing your spouse. This includes selling your home, relocating to a new area, making large investments, distributing significant assets to family members, purchasing annuities or life insurance. Instead, focus only on immediate financial necessities, ensuring bills are paid, benefits are claimed, and basic financial obligations are met. Create a simple system for tracking regular expenses and income, and postpone everything else until your grief has stabilized. If you feel pressured to make a major financial move, ask yourself, would waiting 6 months to make this decision significantly harm my financial situation? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to wait. Your future self will thank you for this protection. Are you currently facing pressure to make a financial decision after losing your spouse? Remember, time is your greatest ally right now. Protect yourself by putting off any non-essential financial choices. Mistake 2. Giving away money to family members. Too soon. Why do so many seniors find themselves financially vulnerable after giving money to children or grandchildren following their spouse's death? It's a pattern financial advisors see repeatedly. In the depths of grief, many widows and widowers make significant financial gifts to loved ones, only to find themselves without adequate resources later when their own needs arise. Estate planning attorneys report a disturbing trend. An estimated 60% of seniors who experience financial insecurity in their late 70s and 80s had previously given substantial assets to family members without fully securing their own future needs first. This generosity, while well-intentioned, often leaves them vulnerable precisely when healthcare costs and living expenses are highest. Consider Judith, a 72-year-old widow from Pennsylvania. After her husband passed, she wanted to honor his memory by helping their 3 children financially. Within months of his death, she had given each child $50,000 from his life insurance proceeds. It felt right at the time, she explained. Roger always wanted to help the kids, and I thought I was honoring his wishes. 2 years later, Judith faced a serious health crisis requiring specialized care not covered by Medicare. That's when the reality hit. She had given away funds she ultimately needed for her own care. Her children tried to help, but they had already spent most of the money on their own financial obligations. Judith was forced to take on debt at a time in life when financial security was most crucial. Financial security experts at the National Institute for Retirement Security warn that widowed seniors who give away assets before securing their own long-term needs face a 43% higher risk of financial hardship in their final years. This isn't just about money, it's about preserving your independence and dignity. Here's the solution you need to implement immediately. Before distributing any assets to loved ones, create what financial planners call a personal security account. This means calculating your own potential needs for the next 10-15 years, including estimated healthcare costs not covered by Medicare, potential long-term care expenses, housing costs including possible assisted living, living expenses accounting for inflation, emergency funds for unexpected needs. Only after securing these funds should you consider financial gifts to family members. Remember, the most loving legacy you can leave your children is not becoming financially dependent on them later. When family members ask about inheritance or financial assistance, be honest but firm. I need to ensure my own care is covered first, so I don't become a burden to you later. Any loving family member will understand this responsible approach. Does this mean never helping your family? Of course not, but it means securing your own oxygen mask first, just like on an airplane. Have you calculated what you'll need for your own future care? If not, make this your priority before distributing any assets. Mistake 3. Falling victim to predatory financial offers. Did you know that recently widowed seniors are specifically targeted by financial predators? It's a shocking reality that few discuss openly. The vulnerability that comes with losing a spouse makes you a prime target for those looking to exploit your situation. The FBI's Elder Fraud Division and financial security experts have identified widow and widowers over 70 as the most vulnerable demographic for financial scams and predatory investment schemes. According to their data, seniors who have recently lost a spouse are 3.5 times more likely to fall victim to financial fraud than the general senior population. William, a 76-year-old retired engineer from California, discovered this the hard way. Just 3 months after losing his wife, he received a call from someone claiming to be an investment advisor who specialized in helping widowers. The advisor had actually found William through his wife's obituary and tailored his pitch to sound compassionate and understanding. He knew exactly what to say, William recalled. He mentioned how important it was to protect my legacy and ensure my late wife's hard work wasn't wasted. Feeling vulnerable and wanting to honor his wife's memory, William invested $150,000 in what turned out to be a completely fraudulent investment scheme. By the time authorities caught the scammer, the money was gone, leaving William financially devastated at a time when emotional recovery was already difficult enough. Security experts from the National Council on Aging warn that predators specifically look for obituaries and publicly available death records to identify potential victims. They then use emotionally manipulative tactics, often invoking the deceased spouse's wishes or legacy to create a false sense of urgency around financial decisions. Here's how to protect yourself. Implement what financial security experts call the trusted filter system. Before your spouse passes, ideally, or immediately after, designate a financially savvy relative or professional who will review any financial offers or investment opportunities before you consider them. This person becomes your financial gatekeeper, providing objective analysis when you're most vulnerable. Make a commitment right now. For the first year after losing your spouse, direct all financial solicitations to your trusted filter person without exception. Tell anyone who contacts you with financial offers, "Thank you for your interest, but I have a financial advisor who handles all investment discussions. I'll need to direct you to speak with them first." This simple buffer can save you from devastating financial mistakes during your most vulnerable time. Have you already selected your trusted financial filter? If not, identify someone today, before you need them. Mistake 4. Ignoring tax implications of inherited assets. How could something as simple as withdrawing money from your spouse's accounts create a tax nightmare that costs you thousands? This question catches many widows and widowers by surprise, often after it's too late to avoid the consequences. Tax specialists confirm that improper handling of inherited IRAs, life insurance and investments can trigger unnecessary tax penalties of up to 50%. The rules governing these accounts are complex and frequently change, making it easy to make costly mistakes during an already difficult time. According to the American Institute of CPAs, over 70% of surviving spouses make at least one significant tax error when handling their deceased spouse's retirement accounts, errors that cannot be undone once tax deadlines pass. Consider Martha, a 74-year-old widow from Texas. Her husband had a substantial IRA that she inherited when he passed. Needing funds to pay some medical bills, she withdrew $45,000 from his IRA, assuming it would be treated like their joint savings account. What she didn't realize was that this withdrawal not only triggered income tax, but also pushed her into a higher tax bracket, resulting in an unexpected tax bill of over $15,000. "No one told me there were special rules for handling these accounts," Martha said. "By the time I spoke with a tax professional, it was too late to undo the withdrawal. That money was meant to support me for years, and instead, a third of it went to taxes that could have been avoided." Tax experts at the National Association of Tax Professionals warn that the first 9 months after a spouse's death are critical for making tax-efficient decisions about inherited assets. Mistakes made during this period often cannot be corrected later, leading to permanent financial loss. Here's the solution you need to implement immediately. Before touching any inherited retirement accounts, insurance proceeds or investments, schedule what financial planners call a tax protection consultation with a specialist who works specifically with widow and widowers. This is not optional, it's essential. During this consultation, create a strategic withdrawal plan that minimizes your tax burden, takes advantage of available exemptions, properly titles accounts to preserve tax benefits, ensures required minimum distributions are handled correctly. The few $100s you might spend on professional tax advice could save you tens of thousands in unnecessary taxes. Can you afford to lose a significant portion of your inheritance to avoidable tax mistakes? Take action before making any moves with inherited accounts. Mistake 5. Closing or changing joint accounts. Too hastily. Why does rushing to close joint accounts after a spouse's death often lead to financial complications that can take years to resolve? This common mistake creates complications that most widows and widowers never anticipate until they're already struggling with the consequences. Banking experts and estate attorneys warn that maintaining certain joint accounts temporarily is crucial for managing recurring payments and completing the estate settlement process. According to the American Bankers Association, prematurely closing accounts is one of the top 3 financial mistakes made after a spouse's death. Robert, a 77-year-old retired teacher from Oregon, learned this lesson the hard way. When his wife Patty passed away after 49 years of marriage, Robert thought he was being financially responsible by immediately closing all their joint accounts and opening new individual ones in his name only. What happened next was a financial nightmare. Automatic payments for their insurance policies were rejected, leading to a lapse in coverage. Several deposits intended for their joint account, including a tax refund, were returned. Worst of all, closing these long-standing accounts triggered fraud alerts that temporarily froze his credit, making it impossible to open new accounts or get access to credit when he needed it most. It took me nearly 18 months to sort out all the problems, Robert explained. No one told me that closing those accounts immediately would cause such chaos. I was just trying to do what I thought was right. Banking security experts at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau warn that abrupt account changes after a spouse's death can trigger security measures in the banking system that are difficult to resolve, especially for seniors who may not have established their own independent credit history. Here's what you need to do instead. Follow what financial advisors call the Strategic Account Transition Timeline, a methodical process for safely managing joint accounts during this transition period. First, leave key joint accounts open for at least 6 to 12 months, while you identify all automatic payments and deposits. Gradually transfer automatic payments to your new individual account. Ensure all expected deposits have cleared. Resolve any outstanding checks or pending transactions. While maintaining these accounts, open new individual accounts and gradually transition your banking activity. This overlap period ensures nothing falls through the cracks during the transition. Create a detailed list of all accounts, automatic payments, and expected deposits before making any changes. Share this list with a trusted family member as a backup. Have you started this list? If not, begin compiling it today. This simple step can prevent months of financial confusion. Remember, there is no rush to close joint accounts immediately after your spouse passes. A methodical, careful transition protects you from unnecessary financial disruption during an already challenging time. These 5 critical mistakes: making hasty decisions, giving away money too soon, falling for predatory offers, ignoring tax implications, and mismanaging joint accounts, have devastated the financial security of countless widows and widowers. But now you know exactly how to protect yourself during this vulnerable transition. By implementing the 1-year rule, creating a personal security account, using the trusted filter system, getting proper tax guidance, and following the strategic account transition timeline, you can navigate this difficult period while preserving the financial security you and your spouse worked so hard to build. The weeks and months after losing your spouse are already emotionally overwhelming. Don't let preventable financial mistakes add to that burden. The strategies I've shared today can help you maintain the stability and security you deserve. Remember, Eleanor, Harold, Judith, William, Martha, and Robert. Their stories show how easily these mistakes can happen, but also how completely avoidable they are with the right knowledge. If you found this information valuable, please hit the like button right now and subscribe to our channel for more critical financial protection strategies. Have you experienced any of these situations yourself? Or do you have questions about protecting your finances after losing a spouse? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else avoid these costly mistakes. And please, share this video with anyone you know who has recently lost a spouse or might face this situation soon. This information could save them from financial devastation during their most vulnerable time.